worries. All right, so next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have Brett Kaufman. So Brett is a sales copywriter extraordinaire. This is a man who eats words for breakfast. Brett was actually the copywriter who worked on the copy for the ads, the Facebook ads we discussed yesterday that ran for this summit. And he's going to talk about something really interesting. Anti-proofing. So I'm not even going to go and try and explain it because I know I'm going to botch it, Brett. So I'm going to hand it straight over to you to tell us what anti-proofing is and how to use it to set us apart from every other person in our industry.
Absolutely. So hi, everyone. Very nice to meet you. Love seeing all the people. I want to give a quick thank you to Jay. Thank you so much for putting this all together. I was watching some of these other speakers talking. They're like, unbelievable the amount of talent and knowledge that's here. So you did an amazing job assembling all this. And thank you to all you guys for spending your time being here. Like, it's so important that what you're doing, and you'll see, I'll dive into my story on how you have all changed my life, and what you're doing is something that needs to be thanked over and over and over again. So welcome. So glad you're here. And then to any fathers, happy early Father's Day. I know it's coming up, so hope you're excited for that too. So like Jay was saying, what I'm going to dive into today is something that when we discovered it, it was able to take our business from stuttering around the 5-figure mark to skyrocketing past 6-figure and then generating over $3 million for our clients in just 2 years. So it's anti-proofing is a very unique mechanism that we will dive in. But before I do, I have to give you some backstory on what is even anti-proof? How does it even make sense if my computer doesn't crash here? And then what you need to do in order to put it into your current marketing. So can everyone see my screen? Like thumbs up if you, cool. Love it, love it, love it. So before we dive in, I know Jay handed out some worksheets. If you didn't get it, no worries. I'm happy to send them to you afterwards. But the best way to maximize this training is, number one, you have the worksheets, go through them. Number two, no phones, no pagers, no fax machines. I'm looking at you specifically. No Western Union credit alerts, no Dunkin' Donuts notifications, which is my favorite coffee shop in the States. Pets are allowed. My third business partner is my dog, Lila. She's amazing. She's taking a nap right now, so she's taking the hour off. But most importantly, if you guys have questions, ask them. My job is to make sure I can help you. So I'm actually going to put this back up to make sure I can see if anyone, at any point, like raise your hand.
Great. I'm going to interject very quickly just to let everyone know, and I did post it in the group and I did post it on the email that went out. The downloads and the worksheets that Brett's spoken about are under the units on the group, and you can absolutely access them very easily and download them there.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And I'll also walk through them here. So, and you'll also be able to get access to these slides. I'll just send them to Jay when I'm done. And then, so you guys will be able to have everything that you need. So how I got even into this, first off started what felt like it was a prize round fight in a boxing match. You see, in 2014, I engaged for the first time ever with the most serious battle that I've ever taken place, and that was the battle of depression. I just came back from a year abroad. I was living in Israel. I had such an amazing time. And yet when I came back to my environment, the world around me was completely different. I couldn't connect with anyone. I couldn't even open my mouth. I felt cemented shut. And I just didn't know how to even operate as a human. I felt like I was getting punched in the face day in and day out. And it came to the serious point that I said, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm going to turn off the lights permanently, if you catch my drift. So I decided that night I wanted to commit suicide. And as soon as that happened, thank God I ended up calling some counselors and said, I need help. But then I actually found my first coach. And it was one of my first coach that I got with. He told me to read this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know if any of you have ever read this book, but this book right here with his coaching, and this saved my life. See, Psycho-Cybernetics, a quick backstory on it. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, he is a plastic surgeon in the 1950s, and people came to him and said, make me look pretty. So he would give him a nose job, whatever it was, sent them back into the world. And for 2 weeks, they felt like, you know, the Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, whoever you want to resemble nowadays. But yet 2 weeks later, they come back and felt completely miserable. And so he was like, this is fascinating. So he was one of the first people to really dive in to understanding what's going on. And he understood that your mind is a servo mechanism. You can control how you think, as a lot of us know as coaches. And this was my first moment that I realized this is my way out. That if I study this, I can become the person I want to be. And me being in a depressed state is just a temporary standpoint. So it gave me like this hope, this love, and actually allowed me to start imagining like I was in the Matrix. And this is what I mean. My first coach, funny enough, he was actually a dating coach. He was rooted a lot in the personal development space. His name is Jason Capital. And what he would teach you is that if you wanted to attract the partner you wanted to attract, you first needed to believe you were attractive, worthy, whatever you want to do. You had to have that internal love for yourself. And so some of the exercises he would have you do is walk up to strangers or go do things that frighten you. Like for me at the time was doing improv or salsa dancing or stand-up comedy. And I don't think I'm funny, witty, but not necessarily funny. So you would be putting yourself in such terrifying situations and having to learn, one, how to invoke the right emotions in yourself to bring out that positive emotion. Number two, how to elicit these emotions in the person you are interacting with. So this was like me seeing the world for what it really was and realize that you have the ability to invoke those right emotions in yourself and when people you're talking to ethically. Or you can make them feel a certain way. You can make them like you ethically, of course, and you can do it in yourself to make you think a certain way to be the person you've always wanted to be. So fast forward, this helped me start my first company, and my partner Yogev, he says hi, he's unfortunately couldn't be here, called By Us Sales Copywriting. You see, when I graduated from college, I took a job doing fundraising. And it was for a bipartisan organization. So both the Republicans and Democrats got to yell at me because we were, raise money from both sides. And my job was to help strengthen the US and her allies like Israel and other European nations so they could just share technology, right? Share developments that they were doing amongst each other. And I would sit down, I would first off cold call a bunch of people. So I was that guy, sat down with them and had to get the person to give me anywhere between $1,800 to $100,000 the first time meeting them. So you could see you had to really dive in on how to elicit that right emotion to get them to build the trust, to get them then to take action. So when I came time to start my business, I was like, wait a minute. Copywriting was exactly what I was doing because my success came from my emails, came from my text scripts, came from my phone scripts, came from like what I was doing in the meetings, like my checklists. And then obviously my love for sales took the combination of sales copywriting. That's how we were able to put it together. And we've been blessed to have done a few cool things in our short time, generated just under 3 million in 2 years for our clients. Most importantly, though, we've worked with some of the most brilliant minds in the personal development space, which I'm so honored to be with. Mindset coaches, Bob Proctor Gallagher consultants, people that dedicate their life like you to changing the lives of others, like people like me, where I had thought I had no option out. That's our mission, to help people like you have their income match their impact. You're changing lives. You let's get you paid for what you're actually doing, but most importantly, have you impact as many lives out there as humanly possible. So that's why we dedicated our mission to this. Now, as you'll see on the next slide, I need to give you a warning. For you to develop your anti-proof means you first and foremost need not to make the same mistakes that we made and fall for the same common mistakes I constantly hear with a lot of the new coaches that I talk to. So this is a very important area because with Jay's training on niching and all these other amazing coaches trainings, anti-proof is like the cherry on top. You need to build that foundation first, but then when you establish your anti-proof, that's what will set you apart. So let's make sure you set up that strong foundation going into it so your anti-proof can do what it needs to do. So common misconceptions. First and foremost, if you are a stud or a rock star in offline marketing, it doesn't directly translate online. You have to restart the process. You have to go into building your presence again. So don't just think you can quickly jump from offline to online. It will take work. And also, don't fall for shiny object syndrome. What this means is if you're a new coach and someone comes around to a marketer and says, just run a webinar, just run an ad, just do this LinkedIn automation or Facebook automation. There's a time and place for all of it. Make sure you understand the big picture of your marketing funnel and where it fits into the place. But don't just rely on one tool to get you the results. You must understand where you're going and who you're helping, which leads us, which we'll get to in the next slide. But before that, thinking that that generalists don't get paid as much as specialists. So you want to become, as Jay in her training, niche down, right? Who are you exactly going after? As a mindset, I work with a lot of mindset coaches that it's generally true. They can help everyone because everyone needs mindset. The online world doesn't work that way. It's like the wild, wild west, unfortunately. You need to be specific on who you're going after. Doesn't mean you need to stay in that camp forever, but become credible in one, get the success, then move on to the next one. That's how you then become the, so to speak, a generalist in the mindset space once you're able to prove you can serve the different specialities inside of it. So if we had to start all over again, here's exactly what we would do. One, become crystally clear. Become crystal clear in who you are and what your offer is. Don't even think about your competition at this stage. Understand your why and understand your mission. Then I want you all to become like Sherlock Holmes. My favorite Sherlock Holmes is the one Robert Downey Jr. played. So that's who I think of when I think of this. And become a detective. Dive into your target avatar, your ideal prospect. Know him or her better than they know themselves. And then flirt with them. What that means is figure out the best way to engage with them. Where do they hang out? Are they Facebook people? Are they YouTube watchers? Are they Instagram? Are they, any other platform out there, right? Pinterest, right? Where are they? And then collect data. So here's a great recommendation for any new coaches. Go and find who you think is your ideal prospect. Reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm Brett. I'm a mindset coach. I help people with X achieve Y. Would you mind if we did a free 30-minute call, completely free, where I want to see where I can help you achieve that? And at the end of it, there's no ask. Literally, I just want to make sure I'm targeting the right person because I'm growing my coaching business. Would you be open to a legitimately free 30-minute call? You'd be surprised if you're very clear that it's free and you don't want anything, how many people say yes. And then if you are able to help them and you do this consistently, then you're able to realize these are the people I need to go after. So then you start to then you understand who exactly you're going after, and then you can just find them over and over and over again. So then the next time you go after these people, you don't necessarily need to do free calls because you know you're hitting on the right people because you already did 10 of these successful free calls for them. And also the nice thing is a lot of these people, if you do ask later on, will give you a nice testimony saying, hey, Brett really helped me with X, Y, and Z. So you'll be able to use that as traction as you're building your business. Once you're able to do that, and then once you're able to get your first few sales offline, then what you can do is take some of that revenue and then begin running paid ads. So you see that your organic funds your paid. So what this would mean is that once you're able to get your success offline, then you can run it behind ads. Then you can run it behind this LinkedIn automation or Facebook automation because you've proven who you are, who you're going after, and who you serve and what your mission is, right? So you have the proof. Then you can throw some money behind it to do what's called a lookalike audience, which it basically means cloning your avatar to get a bunch more people that fit that description. So there are two main forms of marketing, as I'm sure it's been talked about over these amazing 4 days. There's organic and there's paid. So I just want to do a quick deep dive on the pros and cons of each. Organic, the pro of organic, doesn't cost you any money. It allows you to connect with a lot of people and build genuine relationships because it's literally you connecting with them online and building that relationship. Like Jay and I did. Jay reached out to me from a post that I had. We schmoozed a few times, and whether in the future we decide to do business or not, who knows? But we have a genuine enough relationship that we felt trust for her to put me on a stage like this and not do anything stupid to have so we had this kind of relationship, which is amazing. This could lead to business down the road. Awesome. Also, the returns are higher, which means is you start building it actually becomes automated on its own. Because when you build a following with your organic, people will start naturally coming to you. This is where referrals really kick in, because the main difference that separates a good coach from a great coach is great coaches get referrals. And so often great coaches are more expensive than good coaches, but people still pay for that because the trust is there. They know that that coach will deliver the results for them. So organic has a much higher long-term ROI, but it takes a while to build. And that's the con. It takes time, energy, and you must be disciplined. You must spend your time diving into it. This is not something you can outsource to a VA at the beginning. This is not something you can outsource to a team member, because they need to know your voice. So that means you need to know your voice. You need to know how to track these people and bring them into your orbit. Once you do that, then you can bring in a team member to start handling some of that outreach. But you first need to get established on that. Paid content. So paid content works very well if you have your targeting down. Targeting means who you're going after and who you're serving and what you're offering. And of course, the copy needs to be on point, meaning you need to know how to talk to them the right way, understand their pain points, their goals, and their desires. The nice thing, as we saw from the amazing Facebook ad training, you can reach a ton of people very fast for little money if it's set up the right way. But again, you have to be able to do that. And you need the proof to be able to put into the Facebook ads to know exactly who you're targeting. Con is if this is not if this is not aligned for you, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So that's why you need to be very clear first in order to do that. And also, if you're not clear, it's spray and pray. As you saw, when you start putting in your targeting, you're guessing, right? You're doing best guesses saying, hey, I want to target people like this. Even a lookalike audience isn't crystally clear. It's the algorithm's best guess to find someone. So you have to that's why the more data you can collect from organic allows you to feed into your paid. So now that we established those, now we're going to dive into getting into the anti-proof. But before I do, we need to talk about what is the most successful way, the most effective way to be successful online. I want you to think about it. If you look at how marketing has evolved from the dawn of day when storytelling was the way to get your message across, to when people were pitching, this is Don Draper from Mad Men, which is a great show if you need something to binge right now, where he would do billboards, or he would, that's where you get the pamphlets, that's where you get direct mail, as you see from the Wall Street Journal one here. The one constant in all of marketing, and even I'm going to pause and say, even look now with Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest and all that good stuff, which is today and going forward with whatever marketing is going to look like in 20, 30 years, even 10 years, the one constant is copywriting. Because if you do not know how to elicit the right emotion to get a potential buyer to take action, doesn't matter what platform you're on, doesn't matter what you're doing, you will not be able to be successful. Copy is the one constant. Copy can survive a nuclear blast. It's the one thing that will never go extinct, and it can transfer amongst all platforms. So your copywriting, meaning the words you speak or the words you write, it elicits the right emotion in your prospects to take action. So what is copywriting, right? The opportunity cost of copywriting. Here's what good copy can do for you. Good copy will allow you to be able to connect with people in a one-on-one conversation at any time, because good copy written the right way feels like you're having that one-on-one conversation. Not only that, it makes money while you sleep, which I know is like a buzzword, but if you think about it, great copy is always running, meaning it's on your website, it's on your content, it's on whether like their emails, people can read back from you. So it feels like people can always deepen their relationship with you. They feel like they can truly connect with you. They can be like, wow, he or she just gets me. They know who I am. They know what I like. They know what my pain is. They know what I'm going through. Great copy allows you to elicit that right emotion in your prospect. Bad copy is like COVID. People want to stand 6 feet away from you at all times. You're going to get lost in the sea of other coaches. Your content is not going to get resonated with it. And all the effort you put in to be a successful coach will go for naught because people won't resonate with what you're saying. And this is one of the biggest problems, because I work with a lot of coaches who are amazing offline, but when they transfer to the online world, very bad because their copy is bad. But when you fix it, then their genius of a coach and how they help people change lives translates online. So like copy is the most important skill you need to master. I'll just give you an example. We have a client, her name is Esty. She's amazing. She's a coach like a lot of you. She does more business coaching in regards of small businesses. And she had a small email list. She had a program that was kind of tested, and she had a dream. And what we were able to do was do what we call method acting copy, to dive into the weeds of who our prospect was and literally be like them, act like them, and translate those emotions through the copy. And this generated her $50K in 2 months. And actually, one of the handouts I gave you guys shows you exactly how we did that. And we're going to walk into that, walk through that a little later. So next, anti-proof. We did it. We finally got here. So I'm going to minimize this to make sure you can see this whole screen. How to find your anti-proof. So if you notice, guys, we had to start with even the misconceptions of marketing, then even dive into what's the most constant skill in marketing, and those one skill that'll be there forever, copy. Now we can talk about finding your anti-proof. You see, after, amazing trainings from Jay and all these other coaches where you're able to develop that foundation, the anti-proof is that cherry on top. So step number 1, identify your niche. And you're lucky you have an amazing coach that helps you do that. Step number 2, who's your competition, right? So actually, I want one slide ahead. Let's start here. Step number 2, who's your competition? What do they offer? What claims do they make? What is their pricing? Who are they going after? Once you identified who you are, who you're going after, and where they are, and you identified what you offer, what your competition offers, what claims they make, their pricing, and who they're going after, then you figure out your anti-proof. And this is how. What is a claim that they make that you don't? And vice versa, what's the claim that you make that they don't? Okay? Finally, share it with the world. So let me walk you through an example, because the next slide I have one from us, but I'm going to walk you through an example for like what one of our clients did. So one of my clients, his niche was that he helped dads who just had children go back into the workforce. So that was his niche, helping dads get back into the workforce. Competition were other coaches, other mindset coaches, right? Other people that were in his space as well, trying to do similar things. They were offering that, some were offering that it was kind of like recruiting, so they'd get him a job. And some were offering that it's just your mindset, like you need to believe in yourself that you can go back to that. And some are offering, hey, I'll show you how to work from home, so you don't even need to leave your child with, whether the wife comes back or whatever, or your partner comes back, whatever situation. What my client did, his anti-proof, the claims he was making was like, why that is all well and good. What you really need is that, and he identified through research, a lot of dads feel lonely during this time period because it's not as common for the dad to stay home. So he created a program, and the first of this kind for his niche, that had a buddy system, where he was not only able to coach them on the mindset of how to get back to the workforce, but then he was also able to then partner them up with other dads that were in the area or region that they could talk to once a week to go through the course together. So his anti-proof was saying, you need the accountability and the environment, because someone can teach you how to get a job, or someone can teach you just overall mindset. But if you don't have that support network around you of someone else going through the exact same thing, not a dad that was 10 years later, not a dad that someone that was just married, but someone in a similar situation, you're not going to be successful. You won't be as successful. So that was his anti-proof. He made a claim that his competition wasn't making, and then he shared it with the world. And you'll see I'll show you shortly how, because he was able to demonstrate that his anti-proof, through research and through testimonies and through authority and through credibility, was what his prospect needed to hear to go with him over anyone else. And I'll give you another example. This one's from us. So we personally help personal development coaches have their income match their impact. That's our niche. Our competition is other copywriters, organic lead generation, paid ad marketers, high ticket closers. Our anti-proof is that we're involved in your entire funnel. From start to finish, we create everything, because so often we heard through our research in the industry that a marketer will come along and say, hey, I just ran an ad for you, or hey, I just did lead gen. But the closer, even if the coach had a closer, wasn't good at closing the sales, so the coach still felt like I got gypped out of my money because I wasn't making money. Or the vice versa, the coach hired a closer, but the marketing sucked. So the same thing was, this closer was promising that they could close at 30%, but yet the closer brought no money in for the coach because they weren't talking to the right people. So we're involved in the entire front and end of the funnel to make sure that whoever we're talking to, from the prospect all the way to the close, my team is doing the entire thing. So we'll know if something is off. We'll not have that pointing finger saying, oh, it was your salesperson's fault, or oh, it was your marketer's fault, because we're those people. And our sharing with the world is we have a Facebook group where we educate coaches on the power of marketing. So the 4 posts, I'm actually going to pull them up. If I can get out of this. Awesome. Is this a question? Okay, awesome. So if you don't have this, do not worry. You'll be able to get it from Jay. It's in the unit section, as well as if you ever want it, like in our group, I'm always happy to provide it to you again, for some reason, if you can't find it. But you all should have this hopefully right now. So these 4 posts. The backstory on these 4 posts is that they're not cookie cutter. They're not clickbait. And what they do is they allow you to generate what we did for our client, that 50K in 2 months, because we are able to demonstrate certain qualities and certain anti-proof that our client needed to her prospect to turn them into clients. And here's how. There's 4 main types. First is a demonstration. You're teaching what you're truly good at and sharing experiences and stories that relate to your industry. A great example of this is doing a Facebook Live, where you guys will be sharing lessons or teaching exactly how you helped A solve B problem, right? You're doing these trainings on there. You're demonstrating your expertise. The next one is a trust post. See, there's a term in marketing that I'm sure is so saturated right now because everyone heard it, called KLT, know, like, and trust. Well, it's okay that it's saturated because it's the most important part of marketing. You must develop trust with your audience. So like I said, our third partner is my dog, Lila. I love showing her off. I love bragging about her. I constantly post pictures about her all the time. I want people to see my personal life. You don't need to be we all know people that are on both ends of the spectrum that never share anything about it, and people that overshare. Figure out where you're comfortable. You know, we're not saying you need to divulge everything. That's not how I do mine, but you want to show some pictures of your family, you know, vacations you went on, pets, because again, somebody will go with you, even if you're more expensive, if you can demonstrate you can solve their problem and they can connect with you. Those are so big in developing trust. Authority. This one's really fun and often not used the right way. You see, authority, as you'll probably see from ads you've been targeted by, that you'll see someone like on stage with Tony Robbins or Brendon Bouchard, or, you know, these kind of pictures. Authority, what you can do here is 1, do that. That's great. Or 2, if you don't have those kind of pictures, because I would love to get those kind of pictures, go take a proven study about something in your industry. Let's say it's a research paper. I keep throwing mindset because it's an easy one for new coaches. And let's say it's something like affirmations, right? We all heard of affirmations on how it can help you done the right way. So if you find a proven study on that and you post about it, but then put your spin on top of it, you're doing what's called authority leapfrogging, which means you can take authority that's already established from proven results, add your take onto it. So you're not saying this is my study. You're saying this is a proven study that helped people do A to solve B, and here's my take on it on how you can apply it to your life right now. That's authority. The last one, testimonials. So of course, this one's pretty self-explanatory. There's different modem or ways to do it. You want stories, you want videos, you want pictures, you want even text screenshots, anything to demonstrate it. So how do you even put this into practice? So the way we do about it is I want you to think of it like this. Every month is like a launch, okay? So we view every month like a launch, and we view every week like a mini launch. So we're gonna take the example that you are trying to get people into your Facebook group. So in this example, let's say your goal is to get 100 people into your Facebook group. So you're gonna do 4 mini launches to get 25 people a week. Okay, cool. How do we do that? Well, we first recommend post 6 times a week. And so let me do some backstory on why you're looking at this. We designed this strategy. One, we did it and it works very well. 2, that it's supposed to invoke the certain emotions on the right days. So whether you guys decide I'm not ready for 6 times a week, that's completely okay. Do your best you can to model this, because you want them to feel a certain emotion the certain way, because you're trying to stack it. And here's what I mean. The first time you're going to post that week is a trust post, okay? Something about what's going on in your life, something that's fun, and you're getting engagement because you're sharing something about you. Then on Monday, when people already have engaged with you from Sunday, you demonstrate why you're an amazing coach. You share something amazing you're doing. Lead with your best. Demonstrate why you're a stud off the bat, right? Demonstrate any way you can. Tuesday, do a testimony. Hey, I helped Sheila accomplish X issue. If you guys want to see what I did to help her, join my group and I will, do a training on it. It's a soft CTA. It's like CTA, means call to action. It's like, hey, in my group, you'll learn this. We helped Sheila accomplish X. Come join us. Wednesday is an authority. So just like we were outlining above, thinking about exactly what you can do to demonstrate your authority, whether it's a picture, whether it's a research that has already been done that you're piggybacking off of. Thursday, hit them with a testimony. This is supposed to set up your Friday. So this is what's really important. Your Thursday, you want to hit them with a very important testimony and like something also big that you're helping them solve. Because on Friday, you're going to do a demonstration how you're able to help solve that problem. And then you push people, join my group. Because if you join my group by, in this case, 11:59 p.m., I will then help I'll help the first 3 people do this, or whatever you phrase as your strong call to action. But what's more important about that is that you need to not let anyone get that giveaway that you're doing after that time period, because what we talked about earlier, your trust is the most important part. And this goes through any marketing. If you don't even follow this format, remember, if you make a promise, because here you made a promise, anyone that joins will get my blah, blah, blah by this certain time. If you don't uphold your bargain, people are not going to trust you. We see this all the time when people are saying, I only have 3 spots left. And then doors are closing tonight. And you see people getting in the program a week later. You're like, what? You like that's fake scarcity. That's what turns people off. Don't do that. So you need to establish the right trust and the right authority. This is just us putting some fancy words on paper that we paid someone to lie and say that we did some cool things. But in our group, if we would love to have you, where what we do is we do free copy edits on your stuff, plug and play copy sales templates, live demonstrations on how to never run out content, breakdowns on your sales copy. We have a mini series which shows you exactly how to write copy from start to finish. And we show you why content writing will actually sync your business. And as we begin to wrap up, I want to talk about the tale of 2 coaches. You see, there were these 2 coaches, Chris and Jake. They actually met at the same coaching event. They were so excited. Chris, he was working a 9-to-5. He was a secretary for a company. And Jake, he was a lawyer. So they didn't have anything in common besides the fact that they loved helping people. And they met at a conference. And they were both, through the right copy, signed up for the coaching service. And in the coaching service, they went through the certification and they were so excited to change people's lives. And they made a promise to themselves that right there, they're going to sign up for the next year conference. So in the alumni reception, they're going to share how their business went the next year, how many lives that they changed. So both Chris and Jake went back into their worlds and they reunited a year later. And at the cocktail reception that night, Jake had a drink in his hand and he was very different than Chris. So you see, Chris was quite upset. He was quite down on himself. The fact that he not only didn't generate much income, but he actually ended up $30K in debt, where Jake, on the other hand, cleared over $1.2 million that year in revenue in his first year in his coaching business. You see, as Chris was sharing his experience, what he was saying was that he ended up falling for all these marketers' traps of just run a webinar, run an ad, run an automation, when he wasn't clear on who he was. Jake did the opposite approach. He became solidified in his foundation to understand exactly who he was going after, spent the time and the energy to invest in his organic marketing to get crystal clear on who he was as a coach, doing all the testing, got some success, and then ramped up his marketing. He got so good at copy to understand exactly how to go after his people. He knew exactly how to speak to them or write to them. On the other hand, Chris just ended up just throwing money behind stuff and hoping it worked. Jake took the time to invest very heavily into establishing who he was and understanding copywriting. I unfortunately see this happen so often in a lot of coaches that I work with. So as your new coach starting over, you need to spend the time understanding who you are, who you're going after, who you're serving, and then understand copywriting, because that will teach you how to speak the right way and write the right way to invoke the right message into your prospects. So finally, guys, I just want to say thank you so much. Love for you to come join our Facebook group. Like we talked about earlier, free edits on your copy, free trainings once or twice a week. We bring in amazing guest speakers. We do breakdowns on your copy and we edit it for you to make sure you are changing lives. And as I wrap up, I just want to say one quick thing before I take any questions. Like I said at the beginning, you guys changed my life. You literally saved my life, the coaching industry. I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for this industry. So what you're doing is you're sharing so much value to the world. Please, 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 whether you work with us, Jay, anyone else that's out there, spend the time to develop who you are. Do not fall for the traps of thinking if I just throw money behind some automated whatever, it's going to work. It's not. I've seen too many coaches who are too passionate fall for that, and that ended their career before it could even start. Spend the time to get to know who you are. Spend the time understanding copy. And then go kick ass, save lives. You did it for me. I want to see you do it for everyone else that needed you. So thank you so much for being here. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Brett. You're amazing. That was terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know what, guys, it's something that I say all the time is you don't want to get found if your foundations aren't in place. You will have wasted every ounce of effort that you've put in if you cannot continue that buyer's journey or continue that messaging, because once they found you and they don't like it because you just don't connect, or they find you sleazy or salesy or whatever, it's going to be very hard for them to turn right back around and go, I'm going to give it another shot. Maybe she just had an off day, or maybe she just had an off day. Do not get found if your foundations are not in place. Simple. It has to happen. So, I had a very quick question, Brett. Was the post schedule that you had for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you talk about growing your Facebook group, and where are those posts happening?
So that's a really good question. On your personal page. So when you first are starting online, we recommend that you spend 2 weeks posting every single day, and that's just to build traction. Don't worry about the algorithm. I know it's frightening. There's like easy ways of getting good posts out there. They don't need to be like the Odyssey well written. For example, our first 2 weeks of posting when we first started was like picture of my dog, like a quote that we liked, and then it was like our origin story. So you can easily get these posts going, very easy kind of stuff to get traction. And then you want to do on your personal page for Facebook instead of your business page, because then people get to connect to you. They want people to know you. You want to be in control of the conversation. If it's on your business page, yeah, you can run ads to it, but it's not as personal. You want the person to feel like, I really like Jay, and I'm going to decide to work with Jay because I really like her. Oh, by the way, she can change my life.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You want them to connect with you.
So how do you, now I know this question's come up before, and it came up in something I was recently in was, but my friends and family don't want to see all that shit on my page.
Yeah.
So what do I do? What is the tip?
So it's actually funny. I have a grandpa he thinks he's very funny. And he constantly wants to post some things that are not appropriate on my stuff. I literally, like, any, I guess, wild card family members just tell him, like, butt out. But reality is they're not going, like, it's not a big deal. And even if they do, you're going to see people that are going to resonate with your stuff. You're going to see people that are going to comment. And honestly, guys, you can delete comments that are not sufficient on your post. If someone's like trolling you or saying something super inappropriate, just delete it. No one's going to know. So you should not let that stopping you. Because if it is, it's a bigger mindset that's stopping you from actually posting.
So one of the other tips that I heard around that was that on Facebook, you can create groups of people that you can see your post in it. So you've got your family, your friends and fam, and then you've got your industry, your connections, your network, your greater network that you're hoping to grow at a business level. Is that when you post those posts, make sure it goes to that group,
right,
and not to the friends and fam, right? Okay,
exactly.
So that was the tip I heard. Okay, cool. What other questions have we got, guys? Who's got something? Let's see. Oh, right. Okay, Lauren also said now you can make custom audience as well. Amber said, wow, Brett, thanks so much. This is awesome. Loved the story of the two coaches. It really shows to get to your authentic self and shine rather than buying the next shiny thing. Yeah.
That was very well said. That's good copy. You should write that down, because that right there, that's an example of getting the right. Are you
employing, Amber? Do you need a job? Can we
come to Bio Sales Copywriting? We're growing, thank God. Join us.
Exactly. Okay, so what happens if you can't? Okay, so I know that there are copywriting courses out there, and you can take them. There are a lot of lovely courses out there. I know that I signed up for the Jamie Jensen Copy That course, but copywriting is an art in and of itself, and it is not something that you can go, well, I'll do a bit of copywriting on Mondays, and transform my business. It is something that has to become ingrained. I mean, the act of writing is a constant. I mean, it's a daily basis. It takes years to develop the art of copywriting. So what happens in the beginning when you simply can't afford the copywriting agency, the guys who are just brilliant at all the results, and you just don't know how to do it yourself?
It's a great question. The first thing, join our Facebook group, Copy for Coaches, because we'll show you exactly how to go from rookie to seasoned vet. So it's Copy for Coaches. It's
a great group, guys. There's some seriously quality posts in there.
Thank you. It's called Copy for Coaches. Have your income match your impact. It's on all the handouts that you have. I can also put in our chat before this is over. That's one, right? Because we'll just show you the plug and play of exactly what you need to do. But here's actually like a great secret that I'm so shocked people don't do. Get on these calls that I was telling you about at the beginning. Because again, for me, my definition of copy was words spoken or written to elicit the right emotion. So now you get on these calls, ask them, hey, do you mind if I record it? I'm just trying to train and become better. Take it, transcribe the transcript, start identifying the words that they're using. That becomes your copy. Because if you're on 10 calls and 8 out of your 10 people are saying my biggest issue are these 3 things, guys, there's your copy. Copy isn't fancy schmancy words on paper. It's getting the right emotions to elicit. I'll just give you one example. There was someone someone I used to follow very closely. He purposely would have a bunch of grammar mistakes in there and purposely would have like very short form, like texting languages, because his audience resonated with it. Yeah. So if you weren't his audience already, you'd be like, this is crap. Why would anyone buy it? He's doing very well for himself because he knew how to write to his people. He knew how to say what his people needed to hear.
And we immediately know that his people are millennials, right? Instantly.
That is true.
But you know what? So one of the things that I teach, and it's something that's a non-negotiable, and it's not something that happens at the beginning of your business, guys. It's something that happens throughout the rest of your business forever. Research is everything. And when I made the pivot to this niche, I interviewed basically over 200 coaches in a period of almost 3 months. That's a lot of coaches. And it's where you learn the language, and that's what Brett's talking is about. And I spoke about it in that personal, which I'm redoing this afternoon, is with your irresistible personal brand, what makes you connect is when you can speak the language. It comes down to the language. And for someone like myself, so I'm an extremely academic individual. And if left to my own devices, I can sound like a textbook when I speak. Nobody resonates with that. Nobody cares for that. Nobody's interested. So getting in touch with the language of the ideal client, that target market, or whoever it is that you think is key. It's critical.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just want to add to that because what Jay's saying makes so much sense. Other forums are really good. Amazon reviews, Quora's like saved me so much time and made me so much money. It's not even funny. Because people post a lot of questions and you take those questions and that's how you're able to like understand the language of your people. Reddit, because it's a constant thread of communication. So if you're like, wow, I would love to talk to 200 people. I don't have 3 months to do that, which is like amazing that you did that. There's other ways to be able to talk to get an idea of what your people are saying. Because the old school copywriters, before this existed, that did direct mail, they were the best detectives. So they had to figure out how to actually understand what their people are saying without being able to have the luxury of talking to all these people that quickly. So use these different resources, Reddit, Quora, Amazon reviews, things like that allow you to really see what the mass community of your niche is talking about.
And even in forums, people love talking about themselves. So when you say, would you mind giving me that half hour or an hour? I'd like to get to know more about you. It's going to help my business, but and help you in the process. People love that. They're actually so open to sharing. They really are, far and wide. Okay, so what are the top 3 words never, ever, ever to use in copy?
Funny enough, it depends on the education of your audience, meaning like if they've been following for a while, but never, right? So absolutes turn people off because there's a saying in our industry that if you put too much heat, then people are going to be like, I'm like all you're doing is fear mongering me. Yeah. So you do poke, not stab. The difference is that, so don't do absolutes. That's one. The other one, I would say instead of never using, I would say always have because in there. You want to be able to justify. So because of that magic word, kind of give you permission to say whatever. Of course, like make sure it's true, but I help blah, 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 achieve blah, 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 because blah, blah, blah. It's that link that you need. And finally, whether a word would be like, either like comment below, I'm going to say a phrase, because you always want to invoke call to actions. Because if people aren't responding back to you, you're not going to get the engagement you want, whether it's on a sales page or your post, whatever it is. And that's what really drives the algorithm to service in front of more people. So though it's not technically, it's 2 words, but it really helps you make sure that you're getting people to respond to you. Because the more people engage with your posts, the more other people will see it. And this is organic. I'm not saying you're throwing money behind anything.
Yeah.
This is how you have a lot of people see it.
Okay. So back to the anti-proof. Okay. Is there anyone here who wants to try on their idea of their anti-proof and Brett can vet it or tell you if you're on the right track?
That's a good idea.
Nobody? Too afraid?
There's no wrong answers whatsoever. Even if you're trying to still like figure out your niche, like Jay and I can help you like get that down, and then we can poke you to where your anti-proof would come later on.
We've got Rock on the line.
Feeling froggy. I'll jump.
Go.
Hey, no, I by the way, I really appreciate, I went and signed into your Facebook group and went over to your website, and I'm on board. I definitely need professional help, but no, my particular niche, by the way, I've been a practicing real estate broker in Fayetteville, Arkansas for 20 years. And my niche market has been coaching for sale by owners, how to do it without agents. So my current anti-proof is developing, to my understanding. What I'm developing is a coaching, a real estate knowledge course and coaching program to teach people how to do it without agents, how to reduce or eliminate the need for agency in the processes. Okay, so the best I can, and all the other real estate for sale by owner courses and such out there are aligned in such a way that still say you need to use the MLS or you need to pay a buyer's agent 3%, and you absolutely don't. I
Mhm.
mean, you don't. You have no obligation. Most consumers have no idea what is the business of doing real estate and what they're paying for. So my particular construct right now is just simply real estate without agents.
Mm. Can you prove, like, is the market educated enough, the fact that they would agree with you off the bat, or do you think you need to prove it?
Prove that they can do it themselves.
Yeah. Prove that one, that they'll have the belief to do it, and prove that this is how exactly you can do it, like blah, 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 blah steps.
Well, I deal with people that are most usually in the process of doing it. So yes, they believe they can do it. However, and this is probably one of the biggest points of clarity and concision I need, is to reach into their pain point. Their personal pain point is what they don't know.
Mm. Okay.
Right? There's some very simple strategies, tactics, tips, tricks, and principles of doing real estate that they just are unfamiliar with, right? So it is difficult to convince people that are doing something or that are intending on doing something themselves of what they don't know yet,
Right.
and they don't want to find out the hard way. Right.
Exactly.
And so I don't know how to put that into, I have yet developed the bullet point that says, here's somebody who is seriously out for your best interest and trying to teach you what you wish you would have known before you need to know it.
Did you do this route yourself?
Oh, my house is always available. My house, when people, one of the first education points that I get to reach out to people with is, your home is always for sale. It's just an asset. It's like your car or your, everything but your kids and your dog. My dog,
Right.
you would love my dog, by the way. She's a wolf dog.
Perfect.
But have I done it myself? I've sold thousands of houses.
So
right?
what I more mean by that, it's like if you did your exact system, and then like you're able to say, like, here's the anti-proof is that you did it and where other people aren't able to do it. So I'll try finding as many stories of people that did exactly what you're preaching.
Right. And I've been calling for sale by owners up for 12 years. And here's what's really, and the typical real estate agent will take somebody who's posted on Zillow, call them up and say, hey, let me help you. Right. I can sell it as much as possible, as I'll get you more money in less time. It's the same script across the board. Right. And what they're doing is selling trust. So what I've done for the past 12 years is I call folks up and I say, hey, you're trying to achieve an objective. You're ultimately trying to avoid or eliminate 3% of a buyer's agency fee at this point, if not more. Let me show you how. Mm-hmm. Here's some things you need to do. And I call them up and I give them the information, and it's so frustrating to me how few of them will write a testimonial, who will write me back and just say, yeah, I mean, a month and a half ago, I saved a lady $4,800 in 15 minutes. Right. And I just say, hey, could you write me no, but so, I'm still developing those, the proof of concept is, again, out there, but getting people to actually return the favor towards me has been particularly hurtful, quite frankly, but
yeah. So
go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing that helps, like, for example, I don't know your industry as well. So, but if you have like a next step that people need to go through for a testimony, you say, hey, in exchange for testimony, I can give you blah, 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 what you need. And so a lot of times, whether it's like an ebook, whatever they kind of need, that'll incentivize the person to do it back. And then your anti-proof, which is like, sounds like you're getting very well established, which is great. Good anti-proof there is that it sounds like you're not educating the cold people to it, but the people that kind of know this other world that kick out the 3%, but don't know how to do it. It would be interesting to see if you could dive into what that 3% is actually costing you, like the opportunity cost of paying it for someone, and saying, like, if you save this 3%, imagine what you could do with it, or imagine like how you can actually do this on your own. You don't need a realtor to do it. So trying to dive into saying you're almost there. this is what you can save if you got rid of that 3%.
Right. Right. I'm refining that over the next week. That's my job now, is I'm into this process of, I don't have the course yet developed even, but I'm going out doing I'm going to be doing the webinar to actually develop more proof of concept from that market that, you know.
Good. So let's happy to talk offline. I know like Lauren wanted to share.
So I just want to jump in there with Rock very quickly. Rock, is that something that I've learned, and I've used it with my coaches too, is that as they develop, you know, a bit of traction in the market and looking to build those testimonials and what they're offering in exchange for them, is to set the boundaries of that transaction right up front, because it is. You're doing it because your intention actually is you're wanting to use them for testimonials, but you're not communicating that up front. You're getting the work done for them, and then you're asking them after. So by saying to them, guys, I can do this for you. I'd be happy to do this for you. This is what I could do for you. And this is what I'd be asking in return. I would love for you to be able to share how this worked for you. So just by having that, setting expectations, just setting the understanding goes a long way. Communication is everything. If you're not saying it, it's coming to them as an after effect, like suddenly, oh, okay, oh, so there was actually a reason that he wanted this, and how about no?
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Okay, Lauren, over to you. Oh yeah, Rock?
I just was saying thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, Lauren.
Okay, so I'm going to teach course creators, well, women entrepreneur course creators and coaches how to launch their course, and how to build their business and online presence from the ground up and all the way to launching their first course. And I will teach the things that seem to be hard to grasp in other courses, and I will make sure that you actually understand everything. I will get into the weeds with you, and I will do demonstrations on how to do everything. So I will take people from basically doing their ideal client avatar, like the very beginning, all the way through building their website, building a mini course version, building a full course version, and how to set up their email so that they have it automated as soon as somebody purchases. And I will go with them through their launches and do the post-launch if everyone stays on track. So the reason why I am qualified to do that is because I'm very tech savvy. I work in tech. I also am a curriculum developer at Chegg, so that I have to do that in corporate. I know how to ask for feedback and understand whether or not you get it, and how to talk to people at different levels so that they get it. And then I also know how to keep people on track. Like I said, I turn people into data scientists in 6 months who don't even know programming or statistics. And that's a very tight timeline. And I would be doing mine over 14 weeks, and I would literally be in the weeds with them and showing them on the computer, like, this is how you do your website. This is how you do that. So that's really long to say. So I have to figure out how to make it better. And I do have a question too, because I never share this on my business page, because I feel like, who cares about my data science stuff? But I have articles that people, and interviews that people have done with me, because I'm actually the top educator at this company. So they've done interviews with me about how great of a mentor I am, why people go on wait lists for me. So I don't know how to turn that into something to talk about for other coach, for business strategy coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you have, sorry. I was gonna say, awesome. So that's amazing what you're doing. Is there a common theme amongst what all the people are saying about you?
That I basically go above and beyond asking, which is so weird, because when they say that, I feel like I don't deserve that, because I just care about my students and I'm just doing what they need to get their career. But yeah, they say that I go above and beyond, and then people also think that I'm very relatable. like they've switched mentors to me just because I can laugh with them. Like I'll talk about life with them. And I also just break things down to like a very basic level.
So you're saying above and beyond, which is great. Is there a common pain point that they're all suffering from when they come to you?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Okay. So something that immediately came to my mind based on what you're describing are two things. One's a little bit different than what you were saying, but because maybe this just resonated with me. The technical part, something a lot of coaches I know don't teach. It's more like you can put these things together, but like I'm not the technical side. Thank God my partner is, like he does all that for me. So I would be like in service of someone like you would be like, hey, your anti-proof is that other coaches show you how to put together. No one actually tells you how to like connect the dots though, to literally make it work. That would be attracted to me, being like, oh, like I need someone to hold my hand is what also attracted me, what you're saying. Hold my hand, setting up every single thing, because most launches unfortunately have bugs in them and things don't go as smooth and you lose so much money that way. And it's your first impression. So people don't come back to you. So that right there is super attractive. And also the hand holding part is super attractive because how you resonate, because you're saying like, you're taking something that's very complicated, which is data, for at least for me, I'm speaking, and then you're able to translate it to such easy, actionable steps for someone. That anti-proof will allow you to stand out from everyone else saying, I'll teach you how to create a course. I'll teach you how to do this. That's really unique.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. So I know Amber doesn't have microphone in that, so, and she hasn't posted anything in the questions. So yeah, I think my anti-proof is similar to yours, Lauren, in as much as my frustration with the life coaching industry in terms of in how business is taught to life coaches is that everybody teaches one piece of the pie and nobody connects it for you. So they're like, oh, here's a course on niching, and here's a course I'll teach you how to, launch, but they don't talk about the funnel system or the email nurturing, or they're not talking about your mindset and how to handle sales. And once you get those people, how to handle sales calls, so that was a real frustration for me. And being able to connect the dots, like that's very much me. I don't offer one piece of the pie. I'm like, guys, you're starting out. We're going to start from here. There's a roadmap. And by the end of it, you have an online business. Done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, thank you for helping me through that. But I can't stand when people don't help you implement, or they just say, there's a
Leave
site.
you hanging. Leave you hanging.
Have fun. So.
And remember, when you guys are demonstrating your anti-proof, you need to disclaim the other claims. No, you're not putting anyone else down. I'm making that very clear. You're not saying these people suck for these reasons, but you're saying like the reason why you're not doing what you need to do is because claims like A, B, and C are not actually getting you to the finish line. Exactly what Jay is saying. She puts the whole package together. You need everything to come together if you want X results. Yeah. So don't be afraid to put down the claims that are not true, because all you're doing is saving someone the heartache, and most importantly, demonstrating why you are the one that can help them accomplish that.
Thank you.
Cool. Brett, thank you so much. I know we've gone over time a little bit. Sorry about that. But thank you so much. And I will re-announce that with the replays. Sorry, I'm going to stop very quickly. Amber has posted something saying, I do energy work, shamanic stuff. People sometimes fear the word shamanic. So I have concentrated on the term energy, yet I have a love for entrepreneurs, marketing, startups. So weird to mix them together.
Interesting.
How would you mix that together as an anti-proof? Energy, healing, or shamanic work, and entrepreneurs, marketing, and startups.
I would dive deeper into thinking, what is it that what is the main reason that an entrepreneur is not successful? Meaning, I'm thinking about like burnout or anything like that. So, our term spiritual work. So exactly, it sounds like you're doing more like the internal work, which is very, very needed. So you then need to define very clearly what shamanic is to someone like us. I mean, I don't know what that is. So you need to define that, and then also claim like, if someone else is teaching mindset that's covering A, B, and C, shamanic actually covers D, and it's D that gets you over the hump, and then prove why D is the last factor that you need. And that's how you can then educate the market on this term that a lot of people probably aren't familiar with. because there's a high demand for what you're doing. Because I mean, I suffer from burnout still, unfortunately. I'm like working through it. Thank God I have like an amazing coach to do that. But you need to educate how your take on it is more efficient than the other takes on it. And then if they learn shamanic, that's what that'll solve this problem once and for all. I hope that helps.
Cool. Brett, thank you. And guys, yes, so after when I post the replays, I will also re-announce the downloads. Go grab those downloads. That's an incredible template that Brett has shared with us. Brett, thank you for the value that you've brought and for your heart for life coaches too. So appreciate you. So love your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. And thank you again, Jay, for organizing this.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett. Bye now.